You've learned about a number of the brushes and how to create your own brushes and how to create your own artwork by painting with those brushes. Here's a new one, and it's called the pattern stamp tool, and it lives in the same place that the clone stamp tool does. First, you need to define your pattern or to use a pattern. If I just add a new layer and I turn off the old one so you can't see what I'm doing, and I pick a pattern, any pattern, I can paint with that pattern. I could also turn off the aligned, and then you're going to get a pattern that might not line up as you paint everything. However, there is a special feature in the pattern stamp brush that is called Impressionist. And I'm going to show you how to work that now. You first start by defining the entire image as a pattern. Edit, define, pattern. OK. Then you choose that pattern in your patterns presets. So now you have a pattern that is identical to your image. And if I set that I wanted it aligned, and I added a new layer, I would get in whatever brush I've chosen, and at the moment it's a 300 pixel crayon, I would get an accurate picture of the image that I'm using. Let me undo that, because that's actually not what I want to show you. If you say Impressionist, though, and let me get back to my original soft round brush. Let me take a bigger brush to start out with. What it's doing is it's pulling color from your image in a sort of a random way, and you can see that the brush strokes are overlapping each other. And if I fill this entire image, I have something that you could almost, if you knew what I'd used as my source, say, okay, that was the source. Now, how do you control this? For one thing, you can change the brush you're using. For another, you can then get smaller and smaller on your brush size. I tend to like to add new layers at that point. If I come down smaller on this brush, you can see I'm leaving a little bit more detail. Let's look at his face and at the scarf. Still not enough detail. Let's add another layer and make the brush smaller yet. I'm doing this quickly. You can certainly paint a lot more slowly than I'm doing and take a lot more care with it. And the smaller you get the brush, the more realistic it is to your original image. You can finally, if you really want something back, come back up here and just go where you know the objects were. I can turn off my other layers and click on his features here until I'm sure that I've caught just those. And then if I turn things back on, you'll see that I've got more realistic features. This is not a lovely image by any means, but it shows you how to use the Impressionist stamp. If you chose a different set of brushes, let's say I picked a scattered daisy brush for some strange reason, and I'm going to add the layer in here underneath this. you can see at least how you can build up texture. And that's a very interesting way to work. The plain brush is not nearly as interesting. Okay. Let's make sure that I don't work too quickly to outdo my brush here, which is just what happened. I went back into my tools panel. Okay, so you can see how to work with this impressionist setting. It's really simple. As I said, all you need to do is define your image as a pattern, add a new layer, choose the pattern stamp brush, choose the pattern, make sure that impressionist is set, and have at it.